produces something that looks a lot better than anything you can get with the real time. What you see is what you get type of editor. You can get things like hyphenations, and straight away the person could not have worked with something like OpenOffice or Office because you see the hyphenation and you kind of say, well, it doesn't work if you do it in real time. Maybe with exceptions, but with Office, I think people go online as well. I find that even tomorrow I have to work with a person and we have to collaborate on a document, and mine is like a LaTeX thing, and he wants to work in like something like OpenOffice, and then I just thought, well, we should work in a wiki or something, and then I just thought, Google Docs is also a way of trying to share documents and edit the things and see the differences, and I don't really want to use these things because, first of all, I don't really want to share my documents with a company in the middle. I think it's a dangerous thing to be made used to having to rely on a specific company to do your collaboration. But I have to figure out a way to move away from the old way of doing things. This is one thing that Microsoft has to overcome, because the way people used to work in collaboration on documents is to throw lots of attachments by email. I mean, Microsoft has ways around this now, but most people don't know about the choices, and they don't really modernize their methods. So they basically just edit some document, throw it away by email, attachments, and get it back, and it's a whole big mess. You don't see the differences, or if you see the differences, it's not a I don't know. People start to see the reasons to look at something else. But I kind of worry that lots of people go to Google because it's a known brand, and because they have a way of advertising and linking together mail with presentation viewers. I think now I've never used Gmail, I don't intend to, but I think users of Gmail, they can now click on PDFs and presentations and spreadsheets and have it opened in the Google tools. So, is this true, or?
To be honest, I literally just facilitate Google for my email, basic, honest to goodness email. That's it. I don't sort of have a need for any type of feature like that. I mean, even Google Docs, I really don't have a need. I like my data stored locally. If it's something I'm physically going to type and it's going to be my own work, I want it stored locally. I want it stuck on a CD. I want it in my possession. I want to be able to hold on to it. So Google Docs, all that type. I've looked at them, but I certainly don't facilitate them. Having said that, I know a lot of people that do, and the dependency that they have on these products is quite astounding. And I mean, whilst I'm not in any position to criticise Google or the service that they offer, because at the end of the day, the people I know that use it are very happy. It seems that they do put blind faith into 90% of their work life into Google applications. If that's a good thing, well, time will tell. We can't really second guess what will happen in the future now, but these people in particular are solely dependent on Google applications. And like I say, for personal things, I don't like that. Just very, very quickly, it goes back to something that you mentioned in the other show about ebooks. I think you mentioned something about reading things on the computer screen. I personally work better when I have a physical book in my hand. Maybe I'm old-fashioned, but I like the feel of a book. I like to look at it, and I like to have something physical in my hand, which is why cloud computing in the cloud doesn't have a lot of appeal to me, and certainly trusting my data to the cloud is not really something that I'm feeling very comfortable with at the moment. So that's just my little rant on that subject. If you've got no other topics to cover, I have a few other bits and pieces that I wanted to say before we close up the show. So if there's anything else, Roy, you want to throw across there before we start wrapping up?
I think I've run out of things myself, in a way. I could go on to topics like patents, but I think we should try and aim for, say, an hour and a half for the show. I should just point out again to any person who's listening now, we don't have this thing planned. So usually when we start a show, we have this consent that we probably could do 20 minutes or half an hour, depends what we find to talk about. And I personally have just a few words of things that I might want to start as a discussion, something to do with the news. We don't have it scripted, so what I think Tim wants to do now is to go through some of his remaining notes, and we talk about some more topics of interest.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it's not really many talking points. I wanted to bring up something that just a nice little note. The TechBytes website was 4 years old as of yesterday, which I discovered far too late to be able to mention it on the last show because we'd already recorded it. So once that was found out, I promised I wanted to mention it. So, 4 years old, TechBytes. I'm quite sure everybody listening to this has already...
I should say, it used to be called Boycott Novell at the time. So we basically the site's scope has expanded so much. It wasn't a rebrand. It was more of an attempt to try and find a suitable umbrella for the Boycott Novell project, which is the way we started. So the first year, back in 2006, we maybe would publish 1 or 2 posts per day, and the audience was obviously a bit smaller. And the way it would work, we basically concentrated on just Novell and tried to limit ourselves to that. But over time, I think around 2008, we already did about 10 posts per day, and some of them were about free software in general, and it wasn't quite suitable to still use the label Boycott Novell to describe all of these things. Most of these things were not about Novell in any way. So we basically kept the same site, it's the same server. My account name is still Boycott Novell if you look at the account name on the server. But we have an alias for the site, and we have a subsection or a designated area, if you like, for the Boycott Novell project. We have some more things that we describe in the front page of how we deal with Apple and Microsoft separately, and we look at patents. Patents has always been the main issue. That's the reason that Novell was a very important issue, because they signed a patent deal with Microsoft, and they started a whole kind of new phase and a new era in the struggle to spread free software despite those threats from not just Microsoft. It turns out Apple is doing the same type of thing now. It's been 4 years, and it's gone by so fast. We almost have 12,000 posts now. I think it's 11,844. I'm just looking before me, and hopefully we'll make it to 15,000. Maybe this year sometime. Next year, which should be interesting.
I mean, it's quite incredible how quickly the time's passed. I started reading, it was known as Boycott Novell site at the time. I think it was about 2007, 2008, which was when I first started chatting with Roy in IRC, and it's it's quite amazing. It's 4 years. It's been 4 years in the running. So so that was a bit of good news for yesterday. The other bit of news I wanted to mention, which Roy has failed to do on 2 other shows, was that Roy recently appeared in Linux Format magazine. That's an off-the-shelf magazine, a very well-respected magazine, where he was interviewed by John O'Bacon. So if anybody, I presume it can be bought in many countries, but if anybody gets the opportunity to buy Linux Format magazine, Roy's in it, and has a very interesting interview with Jono. So I recommend you read it. I've certainly got a copy, and it was very good. So if there's nothing else you want to cover, Roy, I'm going to start wrapping things up. Thank you, everybody, for the feedback that you've given, especially to that chap or chapess, Tez, for the game editor link that he gave me, which I'll be writing a feature on, hopefully finish in a couple of days' time. Keep the feedback coming in. If you would like to be on the show, if you have a point to make or something to say, or you're involved in free and open source software, please get in touch. We'd love to have more guests on the show. And
I should probably point out very quickly, just before about an hour ago, before we do the show, I received a message back from a lady who's been helping the website for a while. We wanted to have also a female guest at some stage. So I kind of have a confirmation, but it probably will be next year, like January maybe. We have a guest who's quite unique in a way.